Okay, carrying on from the knives. This is the array of knives that I have, that I take around with me. I have a knife roll and a knife box. So my knife roll has quite a lot of the stuff I will use in it on a daily basis. My knife box has the things that I will use maybe potentially occasionally, but I'll just go through a few things with you. Starting off, always have a knife just for purely buttering the toast in the morning, but I have something to eat at some stage. I have a ruler and I have a really long palette knife. I have a tape measure for when I'm measuring maybe a portion of, say, a pressed pork belly, and I want to measure it 7 centimeters by 3 centimeters. I have various pens. I have a pastry brush, various scrapers. This scraper here, this metal one here, is actually flexible. I don't know if you can see that, which is really useful. I have the occasionally used Parisian scoops in varying sizes, going from, I think it's 28mm down to 12mm ball. I have a zester somewhere, but I can't seem to find that at the moment. So that's the one with the little holes on it. I have a cannelé, various cheap peelers, because you tend to lose them in the kitchen, go through them quite quickly. I've got my own probe, pliers for plucking out the fish bones, an oyster knife, apple corer, pair of scissors, corkscrew for opening the wine, obviously. Being a non-smoker, I always carry one of these little cheap refillable lighter things, because I never carry a cigarette lighter with me. My own little set of tongs, a little Bunsen, refillable, my step palette knife, a couple of more palette knives along the way. This palette knife here was given to me when I was about 14 by my nan. It was actually made in 1951, so I have actually retired that now, but that's worked in many of the Michelin star restaurants with me. Seen quite a few days, got a few bumps on it, and so on and so forth. I've got a boning knife there, which you can see has been ground down a few times. That was my original boning knife in 1985, that I still use now. Does need quite a lot of tickling on the steel. Talking of the steel, I've got my steel along there, quite a nice long one. I've got my stone, and I've got my Chantry, which is a knife sharpener. So the Chantry tends to grind the knives a little bit, so then I polish them off and make sure they're nice and smooth on the whetstone, and then in the kitchen I use my steel. I've got a serrated edge palette knife. Can you see that edge? It's great, but also very dangerous because you forget it's got a serrated edge. Nowadays, more popular in the kitchens are these pastry knives, which are more universal knives. People use them for everything. The thing that you need to remember about with them, with a serrated knife, is they do need to leave a mark on the produce rather than a flat blade. Also, serrated knives, I don't know if anybody is aware of this, but you can see the serration there. I'm going to move it away a bit, there. If I turn it over, you can see the scalloped edge. Basically, all serrated knives are right-handed, because you need the flat bit for when you're cutting to go straight down, and this scalloped edge pushes the food away. Okay, I've got a roasting fork. I've got another roasting fork somewhere, which is a lot thicker and thinner. It's a tuning fork, so it's really good. Oh, I missed one of my peelers there, and this peeler here, generally used for truffles. I've got a couple of straight edge slicing knives there that I use for smoked salmon and the like. Then I've got my chef's knives. So I think that's about a 14-inch chef's knife at the top. Two 14-inch, I've got two 10-inch ones here. Again, this one at the bottom, you see it's been ground down a few times. Yeah, that was what has been retired as well. That's one of my original ones from 1985 when I went to college. I've got a large scalloped edged carving knife here. And then into me a couple of little butchery things, a cleaver, which are very rarely used nowadays, and then my butcher's blade. Again, don't tend to use them. Butchers nowadays are very good and do give some really good fat pack steaks, etc. So don't tend to have to pick them out too often. But just wanted to show the sort of things I have in my knife case. which hopefully gives you some insight of what a professional chef could potentially carry around with him. Anyway, look out for my other videos coming soon on knife skills, etc. Hopefully speak to you soon. Bye.